out there, and welcome to English to Plays. We're here with The King's Dilemma Chronicles, which is a new game. It's on Steam, and full disclosure, I did receive my copy of the game for free, and we're going to play.
Hold up.
Alright, so let's jump in with a new game. This game contains disturbing images and scenes of implied violence. There are references to slavery, abuse, racism, physical violence, domestic abuse, suicide, substance abuse, sexual violence, and limited gory imagery. Alright. Not in any way endorsed by the creators and distributors of this game. So there's your content warning. If you don't want to experience any of that stuff, just go watch one of my other videos instead of this one. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't actually know... Oh. Welcome to the Kingdom of Ankist, a place of daring expeditions, gruesome battles, and arcane mysteries. Located in the northern continent of Liwik, Ankist is one of the largest kingdoms of the known world, but it's not the only one. Alright. The Kingdom Muir, to the northwest, advanced both culturally and technologically. The small and harmless kingdom of Kidlata. Well, these names are... I feel like someone just spat out a bunch of random letters. To the south, with its stingy lands. The Republic of Kaupius, to the northeast, with commercial abilities beyond imagination. Okay. The Kasukian Empire, to the distant east, where the Emperor lives in opulence while the people struggle. The southern continent, barely explored, is only known for the fierce ivory desert and the tales and legends shared by the few foreign travelers venturing to our lands. Alright. Ankist has been enjoying several decades of peace, but less than 2 centuries ago it was divided into many small kingdoms and raider tribes, conquered in wars or united by diplomacy over the centuries to be incorporated as duchies or marks. Little is known about what happened before this age of fragmentation, but what we know for sure is that all the lands of the known world were ruled by several lost civilizations throughout the ages. What caused these civilizations to fall is unclear. You are going to assume the role of head of the council, a governing body ruling in the name of the king, located in Libra, the capital city of Ankist, okay? Alright, so we get to get sorted into our houses. In a financial crisis, is it moral to sacrifice knowledge in order to save money? No. Is it okay to restrict certain religious practices that clash with the established cult? No. If a neighboring country gets invaded, do we step in to support them? Sure. With childbirths on decline, do we strongly incentivize families to have children? Sure. Each house has a different long-term goal and backstory which affects their mutual relationship and affinity. Select info to read more about the 2 houses and make your choice. Info. Marquises of Alwed. Life is to be enjoyed. Known in ancient times as the Kingdom of the Keys, territory now called the Marquisate of Alwed had many conflicts with the equally small but more combative Kingdom of Sidlata to the south. Fearing an increasingly likely invasion from the south, or so they thought, your ancestors decided to join the Kingdom of Ankist in the year 73, making futile any conquest ambition that Sidlata might have had. Right. Since then, your army has done nothing but observe a boundary that has not been crossed for generations. Despite the relative poverty of your land, you enjoy life, good food, and excellent wine, but your supposed mediocrity and indolence are the object of frequent jokes and mockery from the rest of the kingdom. This has earned your people the reputation of always choosing the simplest path and looking for shortcuts. And since your family heartily takes into account all possibilities, you never do anything to prepare your territory for adversity. You often ask the central administration for money to protect the kingdom from the imminent Sidladian invasion or other phantom threats that never materialize. Right. You would prefer your kingdom to have less social inequality. Alright, what's the other one? Marquises of no blood is like our blood. Originally, the present Marquisate of Tyrol was part of the Kingdom of Muir. But when the king of Muir asked to share and redistribute the wealth of the nobles of Tyrol with the rest of the kingdom, your ancestors rebelled. How dare you try to change what you've always been? The nobles convinced the lower classes that the next demand would be to take the children away from their mothers and redistribute them to foreigners. In a few months, a revolt sparked in Tyrol. Classic. The reign of Ankis supported the revolt of the nobles, and after a bloody war in the year 143, they were annexed to Onyx, and their family obtained the title of Marquises. Tyrol has a long coastal strip washed by the Shar Ocean, but is practically uninhabited. It is covered with forest and tormented by a stormy climate. Your people are terrified of the ocean and prefer to sail in the mild, tranquil waters of the Gulf of Isorpia or the wild and tranquil River Abney. You are of a very conservative tradition and have every interest in keeping the poor in misery and ignorance so that they are easily recognizable. Right, let's go with the good timers. Life is to be enjoyed. Oh, they're our nemesis. Right, so... Okay. I picked it. Oh, I gotta hold it. Okay, cool. A group of scholars in Libra recently discovered that ancient chronicles often blame a black circle, a dark rising sun, a cursed eclipse, or other similar images for causing the demise of many past empires. After observing similar clues in recent years, historians started speculating about the existence of a secret society that has been leading civilizations to oblivion for centuries. This organization is referred to as the Black Dawn. Okay? Some think they are a force of chaos, others view them as an engine for creative destruction, and some view them as the heralds of a new dawn, harbingers of progress and change. Whatever their true nature really is, it seems that a huge battle is coming. As head of the council, you have the power to shape the future of this kingdom, but the Black Dawn is lurking in the shadows. Its existence is threatening and yet intriguing. Your role is to inform the king about the decisions of the council, but it is within your power to alter them if you so wish, provided you have enough power. Alright, how will the future unfold? Well, we're about to find out. The trumpet strike 3 rising notes and 81 doves are released as Harold V is crowned king by the prior mother of the cult. The people erupt in a cheer of joy. Our hopes of enduring prosperity are renewed with a new king. Foreign dignitaries from Kasuk, Kyopia, Sidlata, and Mira crowd the royal castle to evaluate the new king and win his favor. Okay? The ceremony is followed by a feast lasting for 3 days and nights along all the streets of Libra, our capital city. Excuse me. A week later, sitting on his throne behind the grand chiseled door of the council room, the king addresses us for the first time. Any authority is flickering, and power can be a blessing or a curse for those on whom it is exercised, he says. After a long pause, he adds, ruling is an unsolvable dilemma. Okay, the eclipse keeps track of the 6 storylines of the king's dilemma. When all storylines are completed, the eclipse will end and the uprising will start. Okay. This is the map of the kingdom. From here, you choose your next dilemma. From the sidebar, change the zoom level between the entire continent. Okay. These 5 resources represent the status of the kingdom: influence, wealth, morale, welfare, and knowledge. Right, so it's resource management. Okay. How to... Manage the council and review information about the houses of the kingdom here. Spend coins to replace council members. Your total power increases by 1. Alliances have other benefits, such as reducing the cost of corruption and the cost of replacing council members. Okay. Achieve the long-term goal of your house and 2 secondary goals. Completing them will grant you more power plus a bonus cohesion. Okay. Right, so there's 2 there, and there's none in the city. Okay. So it started us in Ankist, so maybe we should do the Ankist one. How do we move around on the map, though? Oh, there we go. 3 windmills. Let's do this one. Alright, the High Commander has received a message from our soldiers stationed at the troublesome northern border of the Mark of Torque. Scarum smugglers are offering to provide us large quantities of red iron, a strange metal that can break even the strongest steel. Right. To reserve the red iron, a strong metal for the army. Use your power to make a final decision after the council has gone through the voting phase. Approving the majority is free, but subverting it will cost you power equal to the difference in votes between the 2 sides plus 1. Solvent moves the current resources in the track as predicted by the red and blue gauges. Okay, to reserve the red iron, a strong metal for the army. Right. Oh, there's 5 people on the council and they've already voted aye. I see. Sure. Yep. Is supplied directly to the smiths of the army with only a little remaining for our merchants. To thank the king for the prosperous business, the smugglers gift him a masterful red iron sword named Scarlet Tide. The army soon elects the blade as its symbol and as a sign of its future power. A significant portion of the imported red iron starts flowing toward the royal armory, and military smiths begin experimenting with new ways of working with the sturdy metal. Because of its exceptional sturdiness, red iron is difficult to mold into weapons and armor, but a few blades are forged for the most elite regiments. Okay. Each time a resource moves, the stability marker to the right will follow it. If the stability marker ever reaches the either end of its track, the rain will end. Oh. Okay. Keep all the resources in the highlighted area on the track to score more points when the rain ends. Okay. Alright, so now there's... what is this? Ooh, so I've unlocked that. There's 3 of these. 3 windmills. We've lost contact with the smugglers. City of Tents. Let's do this one. Let's do the Royal Laboratory. Upon inspecting the first weapons made with red iron, the chief doctor of the Royal Army realized it would be a wonderful material for medical equipment, as it is sturdy even when thin. Some suggest we should prioritize forging swords over scalpels, but our medical knowledge could vastly benefit from such superior tools. Do we prioritize medical uses for red iron? Okay. When it reaches a space with a icon, the king has a 50% chance of dying, or 100 if it reaches the final space. Right. Oh, right, so I can... So... I can move the military up some more. Yeah, I'm gonna vote against them. It's more important than giving death to our enemies. We prioritize the use of what little red iron we have for medical tools. Too bad. Solving certain dilemmas will have permanent side effects on the kingdom. When this happens, a chronicle will be registered in the table above the resource track. Are applied to the corresponding resources at the beginning of every reign. Positive chronicles move the corresponding resource up by 1, while, yeah, move them down. The invention of more agile medical tools made with red iron allowing unmatched precision when incising the human body brought great enhancements to our medical knowledge. Cool. So we moved up. Oh. So that's the end of that. Resource track highlights the target area to score points. The resources in the target area, the more you'll be rewarded. About the rewards based on the current position of resources and your moral alignment. So I don't. So is that the end? Are we done? Happiness of our people. Okay. So what is this? In the middle of the track. Right, so some factions are accumulating more power than others. So I don't know how to fix that. Let's do this one. That one reports to us that 3 windmills were set on fire last night along the Golden Road between Libra and Golden Harbor. The affected millers are asking for help rebuilding their windmills. Do we fund the construction? Your relationship will worsen and they will eventually become your enemy. But the council will improve your relationship. Okay. So I can lower the farmers, which will bring this down, I think. A small squad of carpenters is hired to rebuild the burned out windmills with the most advanced techniques available. Nice. They notice the smell of an unknown alchemical substance at all 3. Okay, so that's the end. It will move 1 additional step, right? After the second time the resource moves in the same direction, it will gain a momentum marker and move 2 additional steps. Oof. Okay, so are we... The king has abdicated. At the end of each reign, you will gain rewards as described by your moral alignment. If you manage to put all the resources in the target, you will get even more rewards. For 3 dilemmas or less, you won't be getting any rewards. You will also keep the same moral alignment. At the end of each reign, you'll have to choose the moral alignment for your heir to the head of the council. The longer the reign, the more moral alignments will be available. Okay. There we go. This table summarizes the type of preparation and the rewards. This preparation takes 3 reigns to complete, unlocks a final dilemma, and rewards you with 3 at the beginning of each reign. Okay, you unlock more preparations as you progress through the campaign, so visit the screen frequently to prepare for the big battle that's to come. Right. Okay, foster society, equality, build the great orphanage. I mean, we'll stick with these guys, I guess. Okay, so we've got a new... We'll do this one. Murano, a rich merchant from a remote desert city, is called the City of Tents, wants to negotiate a lucrative trade agreement. Among his samples of goods is a slave concubine in chains. He claims the woman comes from a desert temple that allegedly hides the golden map, a fabled item we've been seeking for decades. Many of our people are against slavery. Do we force Murano, a rich merchant, to free the slave? Spend coins to corrupt a council member and change the vote. The cost of corruption for a council member will increase each time you use it. Okay. How do we... Oh, it costs 4, I see. I mean, we don't even have any coins, do we? Oh, we do have coins. I say we make him free it. We can't tolerate slavery. We force the merchant to free his concubine and send him away. This compromises our trade agreement, but our people rejoice that we stood up for the poor woman. Excellent. She may reveal the location of the mythical golden map. Legend says it leads to an endless fountain of liquid gold. Right. Sarah, the woman we freed from slavery, comes from a remote temple of the mother in the south of Merudi, which we call the Ivory Desert. She says the golden map is guarded by this temple. Sarah was kidnapped and enslaved by her former master while visiting the city of tents. Her story becomes quite popular in the kingdom and spurs a burst of interest in the unexplored southern continent that she calls Cornfata. Sarah claims that it is the land where the ancient Sabian language... Man, I'm just struggling to read today. League once prospered and fell. Our scholars immediately start preparing a caravan to retrieve the golden map and take Sarah back home, but traversing the Ivory Desert, famous for tempests of burning white sand, will not be easy. Okay? So we moved that one forward. So I don't know what that means. Okay. Let's try this one. The Iskers, a nomadic tribe living in the unclaimed lands of the Gaunt Isthmus south of the Mark of Khan, are asking to join our kingdom. Oh, cool. Iskers could strengthen our army. They are excellent warriors and camel drivers, able to exploit the few resources offered by the arid steppes to survive. Many, however, are distrustful of their barbaric customs. Do we welcome the tribe from the Gaunt Isthmus into our kingdom? Yeah, man. Absolutely. Super friendly. Oh, I see. I see. Then we're going too far down. Tricky. Ha. We paid him. No thanks. People charged our decision, but we may have wasted a significant opportunity. There we go. So what is this one? Happiness of the people. Right. So the people are happy. What was my narrative thing? Oh, these are the archives. Society, equality in the kingdom. Okay, so I don't think I'm... I don't know how to do that. Oh, it's this one, yeah. Right, so that's going up, okay. We'll do this other distant reward. Laszlo, a botanist, requests funds to study the poisonous red cacti covering a small area of the Ivory Desert. Some believe them to be the tears left behind by Orsal, the saint daughter of strength, when she took the burden of human brutality upon herself to free us from it. Do we fund Laszlo's research into the cacti? What? Yes, absolutely. More knowledge is always a good thing. We authorize Laszlo to take some samples of the red cacti, and we provide the means for him to do so. Laszlo discovered that the cacti are very sturdy and need little water. They can grow almost anywhere, and if boiled, prove to be healthy and nutritious. Nice. See, we're keeping a good balance here. So we're a little bit poor is the main problem at the moment. But we're smart people, which is good. And generally happy. Oh, here you go. The caravan of scholars seeking to retrieve the golden map is constantly threatened by desert raiders and is struggling to move forward. If we don't send them military aid, they'll be forced to deviate to the city of tents to stock up on supplies and hire mercenaries. Do we send? Yes. Absolutely. We send troops to support the caravan. Thanks to the help of the army, the guidance of Sarah, the scholars finally reached the remote temple of the Mother in the middle of the Ivory Desert. Soon we'll discover if the golden map is really there. Unfortunately, fatigued by travel, Sarah dies before she can see her home again. Oh, that's sad. A chalice in the desert. After wandering for days, our expedition sights a rocky plateau protruding from the desert, the ruins of a temple atop it. Our scholars think it dates to the time of Omad, the first king, but it was pillaged recently. Inside, they find the dried corpses of dozens of sand priestesses, an opulent version of the cult of the Mother that, though we worship the same goddess, had lavish ways in stark contrast with the sober purity of our cult. The ruin surrounds a huge oasis, and based on rough interpretations of the ancient inscriptions in the altar hall, it was called Chalice Peak. Most of the temple's riches were stolen by the raiders, but the inscriptions suggest a bigger treasure may be hidden in a secret chamber. Cool. Okay. Alright, well, we've almost some mosaics could help us. And which one do we want? That one's money and a flag. Oh, that one costs. I don't know. We'll try this one. Some mosaics discovered at Chalice Peak could help our scholars better understand the cult of the Sand Priestesses. The librarian chances suggest we bring them to Libra, despite the cost involved, so they can be studied without requiring long and unsafe travel. Chalice Peak is still a temple of the Mother, though, and the holy attendant thinks it should not be further profaned. Do we recover the mosaics about the Sand Priestess? Oh, that will take both of them down. That will take that one down. Sure. Despite the high cost of the endeavor and the lamentation of the holy attendant. Yeah, some think we're desecrating a holy place, but relocating the mosaics to Libra will help preserve them, as well as make it easier for scholars to study them. Increase our collection of foreign antiquities. An inspiring display of the past that our future generations of scholars will be able to study for years to come. Excellent. Okay. So what is this one? Our scholar sent us a transcription of an ancient text engraved on a wall at Chalice Peak. It suggests that the Mother waged war against the Sun Empire of legend to free the world from its corruption and brought about its downfall. However, in doing so, she accidentally gave birth to a cursed black eclipse. Many think it should be dismissed as heresy. Oh. Do we verify the plausibility of the engraved text? Aye. Our scholars searched the royal library for more information from before the time of the first king. While they find no further reference to the Sun Empire, the images of a black eclipse that brings powerful societies to ruin is a recurring theme in the ancient chronicles. Nice. With an enemy by voting 4 times in their favor. Doing so will reset the relation to the default value. Oh, so these guys are very angry at me. Fair enough. Maybe they should stop being jerks. Huge collection of golden items. Nice. Has been found inside a secret chamber hidden within the ruins of Chalice Peak. Ancient scrolls, golden statues of the Mother, jewels, and the golden map. Nice! Some fear taking these relics away could unleash a curse upon us, but leaving them could lure many desperate fortune seekers into the desert. Oh, do we... Yeah... What was this one? Morale. That will give us lots of money. But we don't actually want that. Let's just go... We'll vote like this, yeah. Despite the huge protests of the royal treasurer, we send orders to only take the scrolls and the golden map. Now that it's finally in our possession, if the legends about it are true, much greater riches await us at the end of this journey. Yeah, nice. The Golden Trap. Throngs of miserables and wastrels without prospects throw themselves into desperate desert expeditions, chasing the mirage of abandoned riches. Few come back alive. Nice. Chiseled into a single golden leaf, the map has a grandiose look. As gold easily stands the test of time, its age is unfathomable. However, old legends speak of a golden map leading to an endless fountain of liquid gold. The numerous old scrolls we obtained together with the map are full of references to a sun empire, known only from ancient legends dating back to the ages before Omad, the first king. We wonder whether this is the map of the old legends and how truthful those legends are. It may all be a metaphor for the power and riches of the lost empire. An expedition has to be launched, but the map is not easily interpreted. Okay. Right. I don't know what that means. I don't know what just happened. I don't know what the coin flip was about. A golden map, the castle library. Alright, we're gonna go to the castle library. I mean, we sent them all the stuff, so... Right. Our cartographers can't agree on how to interpret the golden map. There are two possible paths. Which route should we take? Okay. Route B. I see. Well, the lines converge on that point, right? But there's another one here. Is that it there? Huh. I mean, this is pretty cool. Which route should we take? This is cool that we get to do the interpreting. I do like that. We'll go route A. The expedition will proceed on the chosen path. The golden map leads our expedition to a perilous path through a wide swamp. The thick gray mud makes going forward a difficult and slow process. Every once in a while, the huge ruins of an ancient aqueduct decorated with an effigy of the sun rise from the stagnant waters, the vestiges of a lost civilization. Many explorers lose their lives falling into insidious quicksand, poisoned by colorful reptiles, paralyzed and consumed by carnivorous plants, or stung to death by swarms of insects. Some even break down and try to run away, only to be mercilessly executed by the leader of the expedition. Many wonder if the swamps will ever end. But albeit slowly, the expedition keeps going on. Cool? I'm gonna find that fountain of liquid gold. That's what's gonna happen. Oh, he's a deserter, right? Yeah. Muddling through. Some translucent swamp wasps are found to lay their eggs in people's blood through their sting. Ew. That's really gross. The malady gives no symptoms until the larvae start eating the victim's brain, then carve a way out through their eyes, an excruciatingly painful death. The High Commander intends to weaponize the insects, but some fear we can't control them. Do we breed and weaponize the translucent wasps? I mean, that seems like a terrible idea. But I don't think I have the ability to stop them from doing it, so we'll just vote with them. Glass wasps will be very efficient in wars of attrition, draining the morale and manpower of our enemies. Occasionally, glass wasp escapes containment and gets lost in the countryside. Entire villages get the plague and need to be purged as a result. Whoops. And that's the end of my reign. The king has abdicated. Right. For every resource in the upper area, right? If the central area of the track is empty. Oh, right. Okay, so... And that's how we pay for preparations later. Right. Okay. One for every step between the highest and lowest resources on the track. I see. And one for every black resource. Right? I mean... I see. So it changes what the track looks like. That makes sense, I guess. We'll just stay there on Rebel. Okay, spend your prestige and crave points to prepare for the uprising. Rewards are collected at the beginning of each reign after you complete the preparation. Okay. Supply medics with red iron tools. Import red cacti. How much do I have? I've got 4 white and 2 black. Right. Yeah, let's do that. Cool. Okay, so then we go back through. Alright, so let's go look at the description and see what the game has to say for itself. Alright, the King's Dilemma Chronicles. Lead the King's Council for generations as the consequences of your decisions decide the kingdom's resources and political standing. Form alliances, solve dilemmas, and prepare for the final uprising that was foretold by an ancient prophecy. Has mostly positive reviews, came out on the 31st of January, developed by Big Trouble. It costs $21.99. That's probably fair. I mean, there's a lot of writing, pretty cool art, lots of stories. A very story-driven game, which is cool. Welcome to the Kingdom of Ankist, a place of daring expeditions, gruesome battles, and arcane mysteries. You play as the head of the council, the leader of the king's inner circle, listen to the advice of your council of houses, or overrule their decisions. Face hundreds of dilemmas where every choice you make may affect your relationship with the other houses, influence the well-being and resources of the kingdom, and change the course of history itself. Discover the lands of Ankist over a story spanning across tens of generations. Form alliances, survive betrayals, and prepare for the final uprising foretold by an ancient prophecy. Will you act for the greater good, or will you think of only yourself? Explore the map of Ankist and see the kingdom's problems currently at hand. Choose one, and the council will be summoned to make a decision. Do we send help to people hit by famine? Should we wage war against that northern tribe raiding the villages across our border? The houses will cast a vote, aye or nay, based on their personal interest and political stance. At that point, you might decide to influence the vote, spending your house's finances to corrupt members of the council, or consuming some the limited power points you are given for the rule of each king. Each decision you make has consequences both on your relationships and on the other houses and on the kingdom's resources, which in turn might result in the king abdicating or being overthrown, but they will also make more dilemmas become available on the map. Based on the resources standing at the end of the current king's rule and your moral alignment, you will be awarded greed and influence points. Cool. Which you'll be able to spend to research technology, start expeditions, to build structures. Which of these will become available depends on the choices you've made. Each of the above will award you money and resources during the rule of each king, in addition to changing the events of the final uprising you will be preparing for. Okay. Right, so let's have a look at some of these reviews here. So yeah, this game is pretty good. It's definitely worth its asking price. It'll probably take you 4 to 6 hours to get through a single playthrough, and the game gives opportunities for multiple playthroughs thanks to its replayability potential. It has no voice acting and no sound effects. Okay, it has a few sound effects, but it's mostly music that you listen to, but the music is great. The gameplay itself is kind of simple and boring, at least to some. It's basically reading dialogue followed by clicking yay or nay. I mean, that's true. After 2 playthroughs, I feel like I have a decent idea of the game. It's an exceptionally poorly designed game with occasionally great writing, but an incredibly disjointed narrative and totally pointless gameplay. For the most part, the writing is solid, but it collapses entirely when taken as a whole. The idea of the game is, so wow, this is a lot. Alright, we're not going to read that whole thing. We'll skip to the next one. For those not in the know, this game is based on a very popular board game simply titled The King's Dilemma. It has a high ranking on most board games websites, and my own particular group had an excellent time with it for many sessions. When I heard it was being turned into a video game, I was quite hopeful. This isn't a board game review, so I won't get too bogged down. First off, if you're going to play the board game, do not play the video game. It has the exact same plot as the board game. In fact, the scenarios in the video game are very often ripped directly. Right. So it's a board game port. I didn't realize that. I'm not going to look at any more spoilers there. Yeah. Seriously, do not play the video game first if you intend to play the board game. In fact, just get some friends and play the board game. Save some money. Good but short roller game. Played through twice in 3 hours. Very short game. You can literally play it through and still get a refund. The game is similar to something like the Rain series of games where you have to tossle? What is tossle? Different columns like knowledge, money, etc. They are interchangeable and don't have much impact on anything. Sure. Inability to review past decisions, other duchies' information, and build upgrades during votes and other important situations makes this game more frustrating than it needs to be. Glad to have played it for the price, though if you plan on playing the board game, please do it first, as it is much more rewarding experience. Right, I do really like board games, so maybe I won't dive too much further into the video game. But there are quite a few good reviews here. For better or worse, the complex gameplay systems are difficult to master, but the game rewards that mastery with an excellent branching story experience with tons of replayability. There is virtually no voice acting, and 90% of the game is reading text and making decisions that affects resources balancing in every sense of the word. The game's tutorial and tooltips are somewhat bare bones, so it's going to take a lot of trial and error, and again, reading the in-game encyclopedia to help you learn the complex and somewhat convoluted systems. Honestly, once you understand the systems, it becomes a tense and intriguing experience when it comes to unraveling the 6 main branching story threads, whilst trying to outwit your political opponents and appease the masses. Sometimes the good decision ends up being the bad decision. Art and music are on point. Nearly every story event thread has its own unique hand-drawn art. The choices really do matter for the most part, and they all affect the lead up to the endgame finale, which is different in all the 3 playthroughs I've experienced. Get ready for a frustrating start trying to learn the gameplay systems, but if you don't mind lots of reading and trial and error, then you'll be rewarded with one of the richest and most intriguing story experiences in recent years. Good experience overall. Playthrough is a bit small, but Short, do they mean? Decision making is very important, as you need to balance a lot of factors into every single decision you take. Biggest complaint is how the game plays out in the final moments. Frankly, the game mechanics actively work against the narrative, which otherwise would be the point of this game. This, coupled with the fact that the mechanics are not very well explained, and some remain obscure even during the second playthrough, seriously detracts from the experience for me. And sadly can't give it a thumbs up. I found myself more worried about balancing the 5 resources in the game on the right spots than caring about what I was actually deciding. This is not a good single-player game. The King's Dilemma Chronicles is a representation of a game that is tarnished by an adaptation, as it is both too faithful and not faithful enough to its source material. It fails to really consider the shift in medium from board game to video game, or to really consider what going from multiplayer to single-player means. There are some brilliant elements here taken from the board game and writing, but for a replay-focused game, it lacks replayability. Sure. I can see why people like the game. A lot of it is good. There are quite a lot of strange grammar, spelling, and layout errors, but that's not as big of a deal as the end game, which is terrible. Genuinely, the end game of 3 phases is such a phenomenal letdown that I can't recommend the game no matter what the rest of it is like. There is zero clue what the various options will do. The results seem completely disconnected from any reason. It's just terrible. I found it heartbreaking. To add to that, most of the game's mechanics are obscure and the tutorial is rather poor. Right? So, some mixed feelings about it. I didn't realize it was a board game. I haven't seen the board game. But I did enjoy what I was playing there. And if there's a board game of it, I probably would prefer to play the board game. But if you're not a board game type person, or you don't have a group of friends that you can play board games with, this is a pretty solid, decision-making type game. If you like Reigns or Her Majesty or His Majesty, whatever, I can't remember the name of it now. Those are all good options, and this is another good option. Like the other reviewer said, the art's on point, the music's nice, there's no voice acting, and it is lots of reading. So if you're not into reading, this is not the game for you, but if you are, there's some interesting stories happening here. So that's it. I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Leave me a comment down below. Check out The King's Dilemma Chronicles by clicking on the link in the description, and I'll see you guys next time. Class dismissed.